Hi guys, hope you all are doing well and are enjoying the weekend with your friends and family. We start with the disclaimer as always, right? Anything and everything that will be shared in here is purely for informational and educational purposes only. This by no means directly or indirectly recommends any trades that you might want to take, right? Excellent. So with that, end of the week, so we'll look at the broader picture and get deeper. So stay tight and watch till the end without missing a single minute, right? But before we do that, let's look at what we had analyzed on on Thursday, and what the markets did on Friday, right? We said this is one of the channels, and we could either, if it is breaks out, we could do 4 and then down south 5, was the possibility that we looked at. And on Friday the markets, on the first half, dragged absolutely, and then gave that sell off at the last minute, right? Which is in this and here. Friday first candle was this, right? And then it went up, and then it kind of consolidated for a very long time in here, right? And then at the end, on the 215 minutes candle, the markets went down, right? So this is a wedge that is possibly evolving. It gave that breakdown at the last minute, but this cannot be trusted, right? We know what happens in the last few minutes, right? So the overall trend continues to be weak, right? So let's take a step back and relook at the overall bigger picture end of the month. So this is something that we touched on, and we said we've got another day to go to close that month. So Nifty eventually has closed below the previous month's low, right? So this is on a monthly time frame trend. This is clearly bearish, right? We've also done lower high and lower low and closed below the previous candle's low. So perfect, bearish trend on monthly, and so it is on weekly, right? So it gave that candle in here. We said while this is a rejection, we've still done higher high and higher lows, and breaking this low. Since then, I think we've had a long candle, almost eating the previous week's candle in no time. I think on 2 days it ate that entire week. Look at that, right? So 4 days of gains that we saw in here was lost on last Friday, and then by Tuesday everything was taken out, right? So monthly is bearish, weekly also is bearish, right? So this is going to be a very, very important zone now, right? Because this is where it got the support and it moved up, boom. And so breaking 24,344, we're going to get deeper, in correction, right? So this is an area that I would be keeping a very close eye on, right? And which is also in line. So before we get to that, price is clearly bearish, right? Sell on rise. There is a mild divergence that was building up in here. If you look at on the hourly chart, because of which the divergences were building up, right? So the question here is this something that would validate? We don't know as yet, right? And only price can confirm it. So the momentum has gone down significantly, and this is how it has been. This market has been for the last 2 months, right? That grinding slow market, so it is keeping you on your toes. Sellers are not having the right premiums to sell. Buyers are surviving with scalping, because by the time you take a trade, the premiums are melting. So India VIX is also down, right? So unless and until we break this consolidation, things are going to be pretty challenging from an actual trade standpoint, right? While we might have a view, and I keep saying not all views are tradable, right? So that's that. Price is very clear. Now let's look at this area, because this is something that came out very well. And if you're following, we were looking at this area for a very long time, right? Because this consolidation in here uh, dragged way too much, right? And this was the triangle that we saw as forming, way back then. So the ones who've seen know what we're talking about, right? So if we extend this in here, right, this was also one of the areas that we spoke about, right? Could this be a fake breakdown? It went up. So look at the number of times it tested 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? The question here is, will we get support in here? Right, this is an area of consolidation. Will we get support in here, and will we get a bounce and then break down? Right, this is one of the possibilities that is definitely open. And also, this is, I'm not still fully convinced, but there is a possibility of this evolving as a head and shoulder. Many of you had commented on Twitter and on YouTube, right? So this could be the left shoulder, which has taken more time than the head, and then shoulder. Will the right shoulder be truncated, both in terms of time? Yeah, just time. Price, it's pretty obvious. Is a big question mark, right? And remember, head and shoulders success rate is 50% only, but this is something that can be pretty clearly visible. So something that we'll have to keep an eye on, and if that is evolving, right? But this zone is going to be very, 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 very important, and if it breaks that, the next area that we're going to get into is 24,900 area, right? Because if it breaks this, we're definitely going to come and test in here, for now, right? For next week, very, very important, and we may fill this gap. Not that I'm a big gap fan, but yeah, we could fill this gap in here, right? You see that? So this is an area that can definitely be tested next week because price is bearish. The pattern also is, uh, standing bearish, right? So now if I look at, the Elliott wave quickly, if you haven't hit the like button, guys, already do it, right? There's a lot of effort, and I'm sure, this is adding a bit of value to your trades, right? And give you that conviction. So why is clearly bearish, 5 crores to 2 crores, 2nd of September. And remember, Nifty's expiry is moved to Tuesday. So, that's another opportunity that will clearly come out, right? We'll have to look at how things change and evolve with this Tuesday expiry. Premiums are already low. Selling is, like I said, not very favorable, and for buying, the premiums are low, and scalping is the only way to go, right? So change in OI is bearish. Open interest is clearly 24,500 has got the resistance. So any bounce towards 24,500 is something that would possibly get sold into, or we could do a bit of consolidation in here, right? And from a news perspective, while we have so many things going on at the global event, we had that fantastic GDP announced late Friday, or rather yesterday, I think during the weekend. Don't recall the time. Is outstanding, right? Now the question here is, will the market react to it? I don't know, right? Will we do a gap down? I don't know, right? So until 9/7 happens, this time I'm a bit cautious because everything is bearish, and then we have this news boom coming up, in the form of GDP. So will it give that liquidity for the big guys to sell this market? We don't know, right? So overall, staying cautious. That's something that is continuing for a long time, right? 24,500 is a resistance, and 24,400 is a support, right? So the possibility of this drag in here is very high, unless we have something negative coming up today or tomorrow. You never know. Can't trust Trump, uncle, and then we do a gap down. I mean, looking at price, the possibility of a muted opening and a gap down is high, unless the GDP news triggers a massive gap up, right? Today around, and this time around, I'm not trying to guess here. Overall, I'm bearish, right? Especially after the GDP stuff came out. So that is that. Now moving on to Elliott wave on Nifty, from this top. This is clearly an impulsive wave, right? This is still the weird thing is, if you follow the book, right, this is still has not taken the low of 24,332. So can this be a wave too? Absolutely. Why not, right? Look at on the 75 minutes. There's no clear divergence as yet. On the 1 hour we had, but you can't. The price has not turned bullish, so this is not valid either. Even if I go to 45 minutes, which includes the entire trading time frame, this is still not a divergence, right? So impulsive is still on, as long as pay attention, guys. 24,332 is not taken out, right? So this can definitely be an ABC and or an impulsive wave, right? But personally, if you're following, I'm more inclined towards this being an ABC, right? This being an A. Of course, we've had an extended C, way too extended, but that's how things are, right? So this is a minute as well. So yeah, I'm more inclined towards an ABC. And then if this bounce that we see from the top, this is a 5 clearly. And let me park it in here. Kill this Fibonacci. And if I look at the retracement or projection from here to here, this is 3 in here, right? So the question is, 4 is hardly any retracement in here, right? Look at that, and the internal structure of wave 3 is not clear either. So the big question is, are we going to form the last ending diagonal in here to complete 5? We don't know, right? So this could be one of the possibilities that I'm definitely open, right? We could open flat and or a gap up, and then we could do the selling, or if it breaks below this, this is going to be bearish below, right? Absolutely, there's no second thought. And I'll be careful with the fake breakouts, because it could break down and capture a lot of liquidity and then move up, right? So this is one of the possibilities. I'm going to draw this as well. It could come here and then give that bounce. So that's a possibility that is definitely open, right? um, so that is all I had on Nifty. Let me save this and let's go to Bank Nifty. Pattern we looked at, price we looked at. Reliance is very interesting. uh, you know Not looking too great. So moving on to Bank Nifty. Bank Nifty, we spoke about it, right? Look at this. Price on monthly is more bearish relatively than to Nifty. Clearly, no rocket science there. So is it on weekly, on daily, right? So price is bearish, no rocket science there. Let's look at Bank Nifty options data, illiquid as always, and makes it very difficult because Bank Nifty gave that swing intraday, 7 lakhs to 5 lakhs, beginning of the month. So not pretty, relevant or anything conclusive. 54,000 seems to be the support, and it is closed much way below that, right? So let's see how the data builds up. And as for Elliott wave is concerned, this is something that we were definitely looking at, right? This being an A, B, and C, right? And if I zoom into C, this is where things are getting very interesting, right? It broke this down. A, B, C. The question here is B getting over in here with a truncated 5 of C? That's one of the possibilities, clearly. And then this becomes one to look at that retracement of wave 2. Hardly anything, right? So this is one of the possibilities in line with Nifty, right? Look at that, 3, 4, and 5, right? So it's all congested zone in here. 4 has retraced low, and the question here is, if I apply the wave equality, are we going to come and hit this 53,171? This possibility is definitely open, right? And so that is pretty much I had, guys. Do comment as always, and if you haven't hit the like button, do hit that like button, smash it. And most importantly, waiting to hear from you on your view and to learn. Guys, have a great rest of the evening, day, weekend with your friends and family. Cheers. Bye now.